On this episode of RC Kicks, well, we've got a world exclusive. We've got hold of a prototype racing buggy from MRO Racing. It has some radical designs to push the center of gravity as low as possible, so it's going to be a bit of a track weapon. It's absolutely stunning. Oh, that's just funny, wife. Ha ha ha. So I may have crashed and broken the prototype, but the good news is I've got it on video. Cool. Hi and welcome to RC Kicks. On today's show, well, we have something super special. The prototype from MRO Racing. This is the Inspire4. Now this is a total track focused weapon, so I have a lot of details to get across to you, so it's going to be a little bit different to what you normally see on RC Kicks, apart from the intro. So I want to get this, obviously this is one for the racers, so you guys and girls are super technical when you want to know all the little bits and pieces, so I've written down as much as I can to get that across to you. We're gonna drive this one today. They did actually send over full electronics. It's a full runner even though it's a prototype, and we actually set a time on the Buggy track. Well, before we dig into this buggy, let me just give you a bit of a backstory. This buggy was designed by MRO Racing and the owner is David Orbell. David Orbell is an out-and-out racer who's been racing for 25 years and he's been in the top echelons of UK racing at the UK Nationals for the last 10 years. So he knows his stuff when it comes to racing buggies. He's also the owner of MRO Racing and has had his hand in developing previous racing buggies, so he is definitely the man for the job, and this is his baby that all those years of experience have produced. This is a concept design, was called Project Inspire and started at the end of 2016. The main aim was to lower the center of gravity as much as possible. The second design constraint was to get as much of the rotation mass towards the front and centralized to maximize the gyro effect to make the car very stable and easy to drive at speed. By mid 2018 he had an early working prototype. Now it's been continually developed into this prototype that you see now, and this is not a finished product either. It's continually being advanced. It will, after I finish with it, it will be going back for car pit testing, and the expectation is that the actual release of this will be in the first quarter of 2022. One aspect that surprised me a lot was just how much development went into the airflow over the body using the front and rear wing. It's really surprising. Now, I am no racer at all, so I'm sorry if I butcher this a little bit, but I was just amazed at how much development goes into these things. Right, let me open the body up so you can see this unique chassis. Now, this is what just blows me away the most. As you can see, every single thing has been pushed down onto the chassis to get the center of gravity as low as possible. We have no towers, no upright shocks, front and rear. Everything has been laid down to get the weight as low as possible. Absolutely stunning. Never seen this rear suspension before. It's beautiful design, super clean for the airflow. Now, I have a list of things. I will go through them. For the technical aspects, quick diff height adjustment, just loosen 3 screws on the chassis and slide a shim under the gearbox. Also easy to remove the whole diff case with the 3 screws without affecting any of the suspension. Quick diff change without the need to remove the whole diff case or affecting any of the suspension. Now, as you can imagine, having that much race experience, there's a lot they learned when you're out in the field, breaking things and then having to fix them. And to address those challenges, like having additional parts and stuff like that, the actual wishbones on the front are exactly the same as the rear and also the same left to right. So if you've got one wishbone, you can replace any of the 4 corners, again saving you on your parts. Accessing your diffs is super fast. I ran a speed test and I'll put the times up here to remove the diff and replace it. That's all the technical babble for you, but I'll put a link in the description to the MRO website as well as the MRO Facebook page. If you've got any technical questions about this, you can reach out to David on those websites. Now, the release date, like I said previously, is the first quarter of 2022. It's not totally confirmed yet, but that's the target. Also, the price. Now, being a prototype, they haven't got a set price yet, but I pushed them to get a ballpark figure, and you're looking at around $449 range. But obviously, until it comes out and the number of that produced and the amount of people, that's not set in stone, but just to give you an idea. Right, now I took it out and put this round the Buggy track to set a time. Now, the Buggy track is quite small, so a 1/10 buggy is a little bit big. It's a very technical course, so it really is more suited to 1/12s and 1/14s. But I wanted to set a time for you, so let's go see how well it did. So what was my experience of driving the Inspire4? Well, on a tight track, it actually did really well. Normally the problem with 1/10 is you just can't get that rotation speed to get around such tight corners, and you just burn so much speed that you lose lots of time, and I wasn't expecting great times from this, as most of the 1/10s usually are below the smaller 1/14 and things like that, because you can just get round the corners, and that's where all the time is saved, not just blasting down the straights, because the track is just so small. So easy to drive, really easy. I didn't have any problems. Rotation for a 1/10 was excellent. I was really surprised, especially down the 90s. There's a couple of 90-degree, and to get it to the car chassis to rotate, to then apply the power, really chuffed with that, worked really well. Now, granted, I crashed it, but we'll come on to that in a bit. But I'm guessing you want to know what time it set. Well, the Inspire4 did a 7:57, making it the fastest RC car around the Buggy track, and I would say that's very impressive, especially being that it's a 1/10. Because it's so technical and such a small garden track, you can't stretch the legs out on this buggy, so just putting more power in it is not the answer. It's about control and obviously rotation around the corners, and then being able to apply the power straight away. So I'm very impressed. It is a very fast buggy, even in the hands of a moron like me. And yes, that's why I resulted in actually crashing it and breaking the front wishbone. I did catch it on video, so I'm going to show it now for you. So enjoy, you bashy people who like to see stuff broken. Oh! Oh dear. So there you go, but it is fixed. Why? Well, because some spare parts were put in the box, and being that it uses the same wishbones on the front and the rear, like I said before, and left to right, one was good enough for any of the damage that I did. And obviously the person who sent it to me obviously knows my driving is terrible. On that note, thanks very much. Please like and subscribe, and a massive thank you to L&L Models and MRO for sending me this prototype for me to dig into and play with.